Gasillo. Thank you very much for this occasion. These are only the only words I say. I'm sorry for my not good English, but I hope the arguments are more interesting. The story of Italian cooperatives starts in 1854, but after the World War II, there was a renaissance. Italy left the monarchy and became a republic. The first law, the most important law, decided the role of cooperation. The Republic recognizes the social function of cooperative companies and their mutualistic and non-speculative aim. The law promotes and supports the increase, but the most suitable means and ensures, by right supervision, the nature and objective. For a lot of years, there were three big organizations in Italy. Finally, in 2011, they signed a document for work together, and I have only one member during meeting with the government and the other association, the Italian Cooperative Alliance. This for us is a very good result. The size of cooperation in Italy. The growth of cooperation of cooperatives is very important. So also the average number of employees, as you can see, is very important for the power of cooperatives, and is very close to other European Union members. It's different for the other companies in Italy. 21 people each cooperative. The triple number about the private companies. In Italy, without cooperatives, the welfare system goes down. 90% of non-public commitment to social is cooperative. And so it's a main important target for the cooperatives. This is very important for us, but also the other sectors. The 50% of agri-food made in Italy, or the 30% of consumers. Modena. Modena is the north of Italy. This is my province. This is a spot for if you please visit Modena. This is the Motor Valley, and this is some numbers of Modena, of our province. The town has 186,000 inhabitants. Modena district is not a big city, but there is a strong presence of manufacturing industries, car industry, food industry, tires, clothing, biomedical. These are some products in Modena: Ferrari, Maserati, Pagani Zonda, tiles, food, fashion, biomedical. In Modena, there are 950 cooperatives. 350 of them are of the three central ones. Over 6.5 billion euro turnover. It's a very big organization. 300,000 shareholders, included customers, including customers of consumers. Over 27,000 workers. Some brands of cooperatives are some of the most famous brands in Italy. For example, Coop, the consumers, the first one on the left, is the most important chain of consumers in Italy. Or Cive Riunite. This is Lambrusco and other wines. This is the first group in Europe. Some products and services. For example, for our social cooperatives, they produce balsamic vinegar or the services for disadvantaged people. But we can see all the other services more. Last year happened an earthquake. Nothing is like before for us, because in this area, half of province of Modena, is changed. There was a very big earthquake for us. There were victims and damages for 10 billion euros. The area affected by this earthquake is characterized by the strong presence in industrial and agricultural. These are some pictures about. This is a Parmesan cheese. For example, Parmesan cheese is one of the most important product agri-food in Italy. Were destroyed 600,000 pieces, and the total national production is 3 million. So this is a very big damage. Over 60 cooperatives have suffered direct or indirect damages. The most affected branches were agro-industrial, distribution, social. This area produces 2% of domestic GDP. All cooperatives started a solidarity towards those who were suffering towards other cooperatives. But with the public, private, and cooperative aid, no cooperatives has gone out of business. This, for us, is the best goal. The different cooperatives types. We have three different bigger cooperative types. Consumer cooperatives, and workers' cooperatives, and support cooperatives. For the consumer cooperatives, they carry on their activity towards shareholders, users or consumers of goods and services. They are better conditioned than market for the consumers of a cooperative. The worker cooperatives and the social cooperatives are worker cooperatives. To carry their activities, they employ the professional services of their shareholders, the role of worker shareholders. And the support cooperatives. To carry out their activities, they take advantage of the supply of goods and services for their shareholders. This is one of the most important things for us, the distribution of balance sheet profits. You can see the minimum of 30% must be allocated to the legal reserve fund. They are not allowed for the people, for the shareholders. The shareholders can't take this never until when we close the cooperative. This 30% can be in a fund, and the 3% of the gain of the cooperative must be allocated to the mutual fund for the promotion and development of cooperation. There are a lot of money in this way to start new cooperatives. And so a cooperative with his gain can finance new cooperative, or maybe it can be a competitor of this cooperative. Our purpose, like a cooperative, two main functions: a political union, representation role in public institution, other business association, inside the labor union association, and toward the press. Supply of services towards its member cooperatives, two important purposes. Participation to the Chamber of Commerce in charge, meetings with public institutions, Senate of labor contracts, agreement and protocols with the union, supervision and participation to the work of cooperatives. We are invited in the board of members of the cooperatives, and we say a lot of things. There is an exchange with the cooperatives. And so on, the services, support the field balance sheet, assistance and support for startups, mergers, enterprise network, joint cooperative groups. The mergers, we discussed before, it's very hard, very difficult to merge cooperatives. But I think it's better to have less cooperatives, but more big than very small cooperatives. Financial companies, Coop Fund. These mutual funds are born with the law 59 in the year 1992, promotes the cooperative development. The resources of the funds come from the 3% of profit of existing cooperatives, and the residual assets of the cooperatives in liquidation, the 30% of the gain of the cooperatives inside the cooperatives are residual assets for the fund, and operating profit. COP Fund therefore acts to promote, strengthen, and extend the cooperative presence inside the domestic economic system. It supports and sponsors business ventures in the preference to programs aimed at technological innovation, increasing employment and development of southern Italy above all. The other fund, CFI, Cooperazione Finanza Imprese, is participated by the Ministry of Economic Development. It works in the same way to COP Fund, but was born before than COP Fund. But the characteristic of these funds, nobody gives some money for free. After 7, maximum 10 years, the financial companies exit from the equity, because it's important, their role during the startup of the cooperatives. It's equity. There are some members in the boards of members, but after 7 years, they gone. And so this is another financial company, Cooperfid Italia, a domestic institution that grants the Italian cooperation, born from the fusion of the regional cooperative funds, supported by the 3 main Italian cooperative associations. It provides low-cost guarantees to the bank to allow cooperatives, because in a startup cooperatives, nobody gives money. The banks don't give money to a startup cooperative. Now this is a consortium of social solidarity. This is a group of social cooperatives, was born in 1995 and is composed by 33 social cooperatives in Modena. But there are a lot of consortium in Italy. Modena is the biggest one. Members cooperatives are divided in Type A and Type B as per kind of activity they carry out. Type A cooperatives provide to people health, social or educational services. Type B cooperatives integrate disadvantaged people into the labor market. Original duty of the CSS is to be the general contractor toward public institutions, ex-municipality enterprises, and to obtain orders that can give employment opportunities to disadvantaged people inside its member cooperatives. Now, some slides about CSS, a place where cooperatives can confront each other to find out the best way to operate, recognized as an expert body by public administration, capable to intervene in a concrete way in providing social services to people, integration of disadvantaged people into the workforce. CSS has developed its own role and is now a place where people plan and manage complex actions, create partnerships with other bodies, services, training organizations, private companies, volunteers, take part in the territorial planning, the research, public events, projects, and where training activities and promote for cooperative workers. Cooperatives are Type A or Type B. Type A services and facilities for people suffering from mental or physical disability or drug addiction, social education and rehabilitation center, housing or support. This is the list, but you have the documents. I go because the time is finished. Type B, many activities they provide are maintenance of green areas, cleaning services, assembling, packaging on behalf of third party, services, invoice, online services, teleworking, data entry, disassembling of waste, electrical and electronic equipment, waste collection, transport, laundry, school watch, cultural services, and so on. But now this is the last one of my presentation, and so this is a new one, the community cooperatives. In Italy, we have a lot of municipalities with less than 5,000 inhabitants, where 10 million people live, that is to say 17% of the total population. Small-sized villages. This is a big problem for services, for the life of the people in these small-sized villages, above all on the mountains. Cooperative communities, more developed in different Italian areas, exist in various forms and have different histories, but are based on common principles. First one is that the form chosen by citizens who promoted this association in the cooperative form. This is a cooperative of citizens, a small town cooperative. Second one, that the presence of the cooperatives produces a positive impact of the community, recovering and increasing the value of cultural and environmental assets, and craft tradition and tourism. This is one of the community cooperative, I Briganti del Cerreto, located in the Appennini, in the mountains, municipality of Cologna, was born 10 years ago, based on the will of a group of young people living in Cerreto Alpi, to restrict or implement local activities for the sake of the environment and the community. This is the place of Cologna, the mountain in the north of Italy. The cooperative promotes, plans, and manages different ventures concerning forestry, agriculture, and organic animal husbandry, maintenance of green and territory, rural tourism, agritourism, school tourism, and community tourism. In addition to these activities, the cooperative offers educational training to students and people interested in all subjects related to the territory in these agricultural, forestry, naturalistic, environmental, and historic features. This is the last one slide, but for the community cooperatives, we can say there is still a small town in Italy and one more social enterprise. Thank you very much for your attention. Kamsa Amnida.